Hey, Chicago, welcome to a big time Monday night sports in Chicago on the voice of Chicago Sports Fan. Chicago Sports Podcast, Monsters Madhouse. I'm your guy, Brandon, the Punky LT Hyatt. Thank you for joining us on your special Monday Night Monsters. We have a special guest tonight and a game breaking Super Bowl champion who is more versatile than a Swiss Army knife and more clutch than duct tape. A former Florida high school all state sprinter. He ran circles around overmatched defenders during a superb 8-year NFL career. Today, he teaches the fine art of passing and receiving to kids throughout Chicagoland and around the country. He is the ever-fast, dashing Devin Aromashadu. Devin, welcome to the Madhouse. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Thank you guys for having me.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming on.
Hey, Michael, thank you for coming, and Brandon, thank you for pulling up too, guys. It's real good to have you, and let's get to it. I'll break it off with the first question, and Michael, you're next, and then Brandon will be third. So, you were the son of a hardworking Nigerian parents who immigrated to America. Did you learn a lot of your hard work ethics from your folks?
I did. My mom is actually American. I don't know. A lot of times it does say both my parents, but my dad came from Lagos, which is the capital of Nigeria. So I definitely learned a lot about working hard, and he always put education was one of the key things. So I knew how to work hard. I knew how to get the grades to be able to play sports.
Nice.
Awesome,
So,
man.
Devin, you and your father both love football, but I understand he was reluctant at first to kind of let you start playing. So, what happened there to maybe convince him to finally let you join a youth football team?
To be honest, I couldn't find one. So I used to play in the neighborhood, and he really didn't like me playing tackle football just with friends and sandlot. So I kind of just kept asking, and the opportunity presented itself when there was a tackle football team, and I think I was like maybe second grade, and I never forget the paper. It was a green paper, said that tackle football, and specifics on where it was at, and I was excited, and he said, okay, you can go ahead and do it. So I was happy to hear that.
Hey, but they ought to known that you ran so fast that you might not ever get tackled, right? I mean, come on. What are the chances of you actually getting tackled?
Yeah, I didn't get tackled much in Little League, so I'm sure he was happy about that. So
That's what I'm saying.
Devin, you grew up in the city of Miami. Obviously, you can play football all year round there as a kid. The weather's nice. How did you fall in love with the game of football when you were young?
Honestly, just watching it on TV. I like we spoke about earlier. My dad, came over here and he fell in love with football. So me being born, that's all we watched. I grew up a Miami Dolphins fan, growing up there, watching Dan Marino and the prolific passer he was. Just watching that just kind of inspired me to want to play the game, and watching the receivers he had while he was with the Dolphins.
Wow, man, that is something else. Back. Let's do a little time travel. Back in Miami Springs High School, you were everything but the strength and conditioning coach for Miami Springs High School during your high school playing days. You were already a multi-decorated 3-sport athlete in football. That's amazing. I mean, 3 sports, man. That just says a lot about your athletic ability, your attention to detail, and you're willing to pick up other things and not just kind of get dialed in. I know some people, man, I tell you what, I go to the same restaurant with them and they order the same damn food every time. Some people just get dialed in. I mean, you could say, well, at least they know what they want. But yeah, do they ever find out what they don't know what they might want? You were a 3-sport athlete, man. That's amazing. Basketball, track and field, and football. But also a wide receiver, defensive back, and a kickoff returner. Basically, you were like Devin Hester's long-lost cousin. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Did that versatility help you become a better all-around player and earn a scholarship at SEC powerhouse Auburn, bro?
I would say it did. I'm always open to doing anything. I love running, so anything that has to do with running, and those sports all have some type of running in it. So just anything being outside running, I was a part of. I just wanted anything I could do to use my athletic ability. So I would say it definitely helped with me taking the next step to college and playing at Auburn.
Bro, I tell you what, I mean, honestly, the more that I deep dive and I learned about you, the more honored I am and privileged to have you on the show. And I
I
tell you what,
appreciate
man,
it.
you want to talk about running, try to catch up to this guy to try to get him on your podcast, man. He will wear you out, bro.
No, man.
He's making moves, dude. He's got a lot of stuff going on. He's got a lot of irons in the fire. So thanks again for being on, and we're just going to keep unpacking all your bags that you got and find some really great nuggets of the day, man. So yeah, that's a lot right there. That's a whole lot of stuff going on, man. That's so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, Devin, you kind of talked earlier about how you grew up in Miami and you were a big fan of Dan Marino and kind of maybe taking inspiration from watching his receivers that he played with. So what did it mean for you, Miami fan, growing up, to get drafted by your hometown team in the 7th round in 2006?
It was a great feeling, obviously, just first of all to be drafted and make it to that point, obviously going to college and make it to the next level. It just that list kind of gets shorter and shorter. So just to have that opportunity and to be my home team was a great feeling. Honestly, I didn't feel I should have went that low in the draft, so it was bittersweet for me. But I was just grateful to have the opportunity. And I realized when I got there, I had a lot of growing up I needed to do. And for simple fact that stuff ended up not working out there when I got there, but it was definitely great to just be drafted to the team that I grew up watching and experience my name being called by my hometown team. So that was a once in a lifetime feeling that I had, and I'm forever grateful for it.
For sure. We got over 100 in the building. Everyone hit that like and subscribe button. Be a friend, tell a friend. Leave a 5-star review. You all know what to do. And thank you for showing up, for checking out Devin's show and Devin Aromashadu. We got a bunch of questions for him, a lot of cool stuff. Hopefully you guys didn't know most of this stuff so you can get a little bit more intimate with him and find out more of all the cool stuff that he's got going on, man.
Devin, obviously the NFL is pretty well known for being a sport in which the average career is pretty short. 2.5 years to be exact. You refused to allow your NFL career to be just a cup of coffee. After stints with the Dolphins, Colts, Redskins, you ultimately ended up with the Bears in 2009. What was the key to reigniting your career in Ron Turner's offense?
I just knew. I mean, I spoke with my agent, and I knew that was pretty much one of my last opportunities to kind of make the best of it. So I just went out there, and I knew I always had the ability. I just needed really just a fair chance to kind of show what I could do. And I knew the Bears were kind of thin at the receiver position, so I just wanted to take advantage of that and just give it my all, and it ended up working out for me.
We're glad they did, man.
Thank you.
For sure. Somebody asked, they gave us a little curveball. We got a couple questions. Michael, can you please unpack some of those right now? I just see one at the top, or not near the top, but about middle of the way. JV wants to know, who was your favorite Dolphin receiver, Devin, besides yourself?
Mark Clayton.
Oh, man, that's a name from the past. That's a
good choice.
One. Yeah, hard to argue with that one. Michael, you see anything else out there? Hey, Bruja, thanks for showing up. Armando, all you guys, thanks. Patty, thank you, everybody, for showing up.
Yep, thanks, guys, for coming in. I got another one from JB who says, what drills did you do to develop such good hands, Devin?
I mean, I would say for me, catching tennis balls is something I did. I mean, to be honest, catching is more so concentration than anything. I think anybody can do it. It's just about concentration. That's why you see some of the best receivers that may drop a pass every now and then being wide open. It's more concentration than it is just your hands. So if you catch something smaller than the object that you're catching, you most likely have to concentrate a little bit more to do that because it's a smaller object. So for me, it was catching tennis balls. That's what I picked up on in college, and I kind of remained doing that throughout the rest of my career.
Did you guys do the dunk the ball in water to prep yourself for a rainy day?
I didn't do that. No? I didn't do that.
Michael, I think you're like, let's see. Oh, no, we just did Brandon. So, Devin, football is filled with fast cats with impressive 40-yard dashes. What is the secret sauce to being not just a fast receiver, but a glue receiver who can be counted on to make tough catches across the middle, under heavy carriage, and on third and longs? I mean, honestly, you have to have like zero fear going across the middle and just just take off, faster than the word of God. But I mean, what's the key to all that, man? Because I'm the total opposite of that. I'm excited to learn it.
I think just not being scared. I mean, back then, they kind of changed the rules now, but coach will tell you you're going to get hit anyway, whether you catch the ball or not. So you might as well try to catch it. And speed kills. So I mean, routes are based off your speed. If the DB doesn't feel a threat that he can't be beat deep, then it kind of eliminates the amount of routes that you can run. So knowing that you can, if you have some speed or at least showing some speed, on the route, it kind of opens up the whole route tree for you as a receiver versus someone that can't necessarily get down the field. They're limited to what they can do, and the DB can kind of sit on routes. So, just really those two things to answer the question.
So once you tackle the hard stuff, or try to not get tackled by the hard stuff, rather, then all the other stuff gets a little bit easier for you, because you got that monkey off your back. You're not worried about the fear. Then all the out routes and all that kind of stuff is easier since you blew up the middle, and you're like, what do you got for me now? I like that. I like that philosophy, Devin. That makes a lot of sense, man.
Yeah, so Devin, as a receiver yourself, I'm sure well familiar with this receiving core that Ryan Poles has put together for Caleb Williams this upcoming season, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. I'm sure you already know the names, but it's just fun to say them because of how great they are. So when you look at them, how wide do your eyes get in excitement just seeing those names on paper for the Bears right now?
I mean, it's exciting, man. It should be a fun year. I definitely, Bears fans, I urge a little patience with everything. It all, may not come together overnight, but I think it's a bright future, and they definitely set up, a good starter kit for Caleb Williams to be successful. So, I think that's definitely they're heading in the right direction.
Good starter kit for any quarterback. Caleb Williams made an appearance, as we saw, I think earlier today or maybe yesterday, at a DJ Moore's youth camp. Tossed the ball around a little bit with some young guys. Obviously, for somebody who's being as decorated as yourself as a good teammate, do you think that's kind of a sign of commitment to his teammates and to the Bears in general?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a good sign. He's happy to be there, and to get that rapport with the receivers that early, that's definitely a good sign in the right direction, so they can all get on the same page and have the same common goal, because they're definitely they're gonna need each other to get through this season. Caleb's gonna go through he's gonna have some good times, he's gonna have some tough times, so he's gonna need that veteran receiver group to kind of help him get through those tough times that he has throughout the season.
How important, Devin, is that, do you think, where two-player like a receiver quarterback tandem before a season kind of build that repertoire off the field?
I think it's real important. I think it's needed. You gotta have those. You gotta be connected to those guys, because you become family. You're around each other so much. So just kind of hanging out with each other. Now you start to kind of say the same stuff. Eat the same stuff, and before you know it on the field, you guys are thinking the same thing. So now it just looks like they've been playing together for 5 to 10 years. So it definitely speeds up a lot of the stuff that would happen if they were just with each other just during the season when they had to be.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And I think it's interesting how he's processing things too, because when you come in at a level, I'll just speak from my lower level when I played college ball, people were asking me to do certain things and whatever, and I was a little overwhelmed by the curriculum, and then just, break and get out on the player field. I'm like, people are like, hey, do you want to go to this party, this and that, go do this, go do that. And I'm just like, I got to get this down. This ain't down. This ain't down until I get out on the field and I get through the first game. And I ain't even talking about just like practice, you know what I'm saying, Devin? And I ain't even talking about the pre, I'm talking about the actual game. Like, I had like some serious, like, strong rules and I had my boundaries, because I didn't know what I was capable of. I thought I knew, but I wanted to protect myself. It seems like this guy, there's no moment too big, with this Caleb. And like when he hears or he sees that he has a friend in need and a teammate, and and he's like, hey man, I got this camp, blah blah blah. I don't even know if there was a conversation. Would you like to pull up, whatever. He was like, man, I'm already there. Say less, and he was there, man. And then you see taking a picture with DJ's daughter and stuff. I mean, it just warms your heart to see stuff like this, Not saying that it doesn't happen all the time, but just to see this right now with whatever, it's cool for us fans. I'm sure it says something to you too, as far as like that whole camaraderie and togetherness.
It's definitely a beautiful thing to see that, this early. So make sure you keep them like that. Don't let the Bears fans can't turn them sour now, So remember this moment. But yeah, it's a good start. You can have a much better start than to the season than that. So that's good to see that he's out interacting and just kind of putting his face out there.
Yeah, you've given much time to today's young players, and that speaks a lot of volume for you and what you do. And you didn't just, you didn't, as soon as the field was done, you weren't just like, that's a wrap, I'm done. You took it a step further, and that's really cool, man. It's the legacy that you leave behind, and I could see that you get that, and that's commendable and all of that. But in the fine art of pass reception, I mean, that is critical. And then just a lot of it is confidence, man, because a lot of kids, they unlock stuff when their jitters are, and they don't even, you might have been the only person that said something that breathed some sort of confidence or life into them that day. And that might unlock some hands that they never even knew they had. But for you, why is it so important for you to pass on your knowledge and skills to tomorrow's players? And what is the most critical lesson that you try to teach kids today, bro?
I mean, it's important because I remember growing up, at my high school, we had some people that played in the NFL, and I asked my head coach, and I was like, why didn't they come back to the high school, or do they ever come back? And I told him, I said, if I ever make it, I said, I'm going to come back to my high school and do something here. So just that inspiration and people seeing it, because a lot of people at my high school, they don't really know, what's out there, what they can do. So for them to see somebody that's made it, whether they want to be a doctor, an athlete, whatever it is they want to do, they can do it. So just being that little bit of hope is the reason that, I give back, because a lot of people don't have that. So just to hear that from somebody gives them the hope just to take that extra step, keep going, and not give up on whatever their dream is. So that's the reason it was important for me to give back.
Bro, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of emotions, a lot of, things that you set for yourself, benchmarks, whatever. You accomplished so many goals and everything along your career. But like, did you ever feel like outside of the game of football, like your game of football was kind of like a vehicle to get you to something that you didn't realize was greater than the game? Because I feel like this thing is your calling with the kids, man. I think this is a pretty big thing. I mean, is it right up there with some of your major accomplishments, bro?
It definitely is. I mean, it's huge for me. I did some, what was that, in Chicago? I think it was I want to say 2011. Yeah. Did something in Chicago. We took I think it was 40 kids to Target. They were with the Chicago Housing Authority, and they got to go get some school stuff, because it was right before school started. It was after the first game, and just meeting those kids and talking with them. And one of them reached out to me on LinkedIn maybe like 5 years ago, and he played basketball at Texas Southern, and he's back in Chicago working. And just to when you hear, you see stuff like that, that you've impacted somebody's life, from, a place or state to where people didn't really give him a chance. So he remembered that, the chance to come, to come hang out, because they took kids that had good grades. So he remembered the opportunity to come out, and we talked, and we took the kids and we took everybody to Target to get some supplies. And we talked about that a little bit, and just that coming full circle was like, that's the reason, that you do stuff like that. And, that just was, I'll never forget that. Me and him still talk to this day. So, that was very powerful just to know that one small thing that was done impacted his life. And that's the only person I actually talked to, but I'm sure it impacted a lot of other people's life and just gave them hope that they could do whatever it is they want in life,
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure.
Yeah, we got some more questions in the chat for you, Devin. First one from JB says, which cornerback gave you the toughest challenges when you played, and what specifically did they do that gave you fits?
This was probably early on in my career, like my second year. I was with Indy. We were playing against the Raiders. I would say Nnamdi Asomugha probably gave me the toughest time because his size. I wasn't used to going against DBs that were my size. I don't think there were that many, and could run and could move. So he gave me some fits, and it really was just his size and athleticism. So I think to get my first catch, I ended up having to push off. They didn't call it, but it was tough for me. It was tough. He was the toughest corner I played against.
And JB has another one. He says, where did you learn the most about blocking downfield? And he says you always saw that as one of your strengths as a player.
Well, I learned it in college. I went to Auburn University, and we had two great running backs in Ronnie Brown and Carnell Williams. So if you wanted to play receiver at Auburn, you had to block. So I had to know how to block. That was like a prerequisite to play receiver. So that's why I learned it at Auburn University.
Didn't Ronnie go to the Dolphins too, bro?
Yep, he went a year before me to the Dolphins. You're
he
right.
was a beast, man. I thought he was pretty good, man.
Yeah, and then there's another last question from Bruja in the chat. He says, Devin, what's been the best way to recover from the game day rigors and any particular muscle and joint maintenance?
For me, getting the ice bath for a little while, about 10 minutes. Get at home, fill some water up in there, get in there, and just really relax and drink some water and just kind of just stay off my feet. So that's what I do. Do a little stretching the next day, but definitely ice tub.
Gotcha. And I think we asked a lot of people about the traits of a quarterback, and I think it's perfect to ask you, a receiver, what traits you see that are best out of Caleb Williams as someone that actually would catch passes from quarterbacks. I think wide receivers would have a really good tell on those traits that are gleaming out of a quarterback. So what have you seen out of Caleb Williams that is most positive of trait-wise?
Obviously you got a confident quarterback. He can throw the ball downfield. I'm a vertical receiver, so I love that. Any quarterback has a strong arm. He has great vision. He does well outside of the pocket. So I think those are some things that are some attributes are definitely going to help him and the Chicago Bears in the future. But for me, the biggest thing is being able to throw the ball down the field because I like to go down the field. So that's the thing that jumps out to me. What I see from Caleb Williams.
Devin, being a player who was probably a role model for a lot of young players, what do you think the biggest misunderstanding is about the difficulty of playing the wide receiver position at even the collegiate level?
I would say the ups and downs because it's a receiver position is so much about concentration and just being confident. And just knowing, if you drop one, get back out there and get ready for the next one. And that stuff can kind of pile on and just
short memory.
Have a short memory. So I think that's one of the biggest things for me because we, as a receiver, you beat yourself up if you drop one, or if you drop one that's wide open and you can't do anything about it. So I think that's one of the things, you definitely want to conquer as a collegiate receiver or a younger receiver, just having a short memory and just knowing that it's going to happen. You're not going to catch them all. So you drop it, you get ready for the next one and move on from it.
I like that. Man. Pick yourself
up. Hey, Devin, I got to get to my polk high, moment where, I played left tackle, college.
All right.
So, my polk high.
Okay.
But I have a lot of respect and a lot of love and appreciation for the offensive lineman. And today, number 73, we lost an NFL great. Say what you got to say about the Cowboys, boo-hoo, and all this and that, and all that's all fine and dandy. But when someone, passes, especially a guy like Larry Allen, man, I mean, what made him such a great elite football player, man, that to you,
I mean, look how big he was.
Dude, seriously.
But I mean, just that whole team, but obviously line and Larry Allen. I mean, I had a lot of my friends were Dallas Cowboys fans, so you couldn't help but to love or watch the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. And just to lose someone like this, definitely unfortunate. But the way they played the game, the way he blocked, it meant something to him. It was important to him. So he definitely I didn't play offensive line, but I can see for anyone that played offensive line, I could see that, that position meant the world to me. You couldn't tell him he wasn't the starting quarterback on the team, the way he played this position.
And to your credit, you block really well down the field. So
right.
I'm sure something like that, you have appreciation for. The guys block for your quarterback, you're going to get that ball, whatever. But, I mean, when you're talking about his physicality and his big, dominant run blocking and everything, for Emmett, whatever. But, dude, honestly, when you look at the size of that guy, like you said earlier, there was no wasted bigness about him. Like, if that makes any sense. Like, some people are like big, and then, you lock horns with them and like, dude, you ain't got nothing up top or you ain't got nothing down low, but that dude was all over, just a monster. Man, it just like he was one of the greatest of all times, man.
He was ahead of his time. In the 1990s, the average offensive lineman was 300 pounds. That guy was drafted at 325.
Wow.
Yeah, he was massive, and he could run too, man.
Right.
I remember my grandpa told me once, because he was he migrated from Poland in like the 50s, and he caught up with my great grandfather and back in the, like, Detroit area, so they became Detroit Lion fans, and Barry Sanders was around later on. And he told me one time, he says the average offensive line for the entire Detroit Lions was outweighed like 10 times by like the Michigan Wolverines and the Spartans. And he goes, that's ridiculous, man. He goes, could you imagine if
I know where you're going with this.
If Larry and the rest of the offensive line for the Cowboys could block for, for
Barry would still be running right now. If he had, that's what a lot of people would say. I mean, Barry was a great running back. I mean,
speaking of which,
he didn't have nowhere near the line.
You look like you could still play today, man.
Dude.
Nah, I don't want anything to do with that, son.
No. Have you been clocked lately? Have you been clocked lately?
No? I pulled something. I don't go that fast anymore. I jog on the treadmill. That's clocking.
I got to tell on myself really quick. This is totally not football related.
All right.
But I had to get down into I built this big wheelchair ramp before my mother-in-law passed last October. And I put this step up. It was it's called a gorilla ladder or big old ladder. And it's 4 or 5 steps and it can hold my weight, which is a lot. So I get up on it, and then there's another ladder to get down in there, and I have to pull all these weeds and stuff and get it around the bush and whatever. So I go grab my son that's inside the house, and I'm like, come on, son, just hold the ladder, in case I go down or something, I'll give you the phone and you can call for help. I don't know, I'm just getting him in the moment so he can see and get around all this stuff. He's young. So I get up on the ladder to get up on the other ladder. You got to get up over the handrail and then walk down the next ladder, the aluminum ladder. So I get my leg up and over. I just started working out in December, so I've came a long way. So bear with me, but I haven't came long enough, because what happens next gets worse. I get my leg up over the handrail, and as I'm descending down, I'm like, oh. I got like a Charlie horse, and my son, he falls down on the deck, and he just starts laughing. He's like, I'm gonna go get Mom. This is great. I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
Where'd my ladder holder guy go? You know what happened? And then
you got to be careful.
Dude, then he goes, just gets worse. I got no help, bro. I'm going to have to get one of those things that they got. Remember back in the day, I've fallen and I can't get up. I got to get one of them things. So he goes and gets her, and she gets sidetracked and goes down to the basement to go do laundry. 10 minutes later, I'm like, hey, what happened to you, boy? And he's like, oh, I'm in here playing Minecraft. I'm like,
oh my God.
I got no help. Sorry, guys. Where were we? We were,
I got some questions from the chat here. Squeaky's got one. He says, what will Roman Caleb's biggest hurdle changing to a pro offense from college and the speed of the game and something else just along those lines?
I like that.
What's kind of the hardest part there, Devin?
As far as I mean, I think so. So no, more so, and it's just my opinion. The speed of the game doesn't necessarily come from the physical part, but from the mental part and how fast people can pick up and dissect what you're gonna do before you're gonna do it. So it's a little less physical than what like someone that hasn't played or a fan may think it is. It's more mental. I kind of learned that when I started really playing and getting reps when I was in Indianapolis, and I remember when I was running routes, and we had a cornerback named Nick Harper, and he was running my routes for me before I would get out of the route. So, I would watch him, and I was like, I asked him after practice, like, how'd you know I was going to do? He said he basically just read the whole scheme of what we were going to do, and so he knew what the receiver inside of me was doing. And like the movement of the quarterback and the tight end to know basically the probability of the route that I was going to run. So I just learned at that point to kind of start disguising stuff. So once I disguised it, now I was able to, make him think one thing versus another thing. So kind of, I think it's once you have the mental part down, the play, you can play fast. And now once you know the play, now you can kind of, have the defense make the defense think you're doing something else versus what you're really doing, to kind of mislead them and send them the wrong way. So that's what helped me. So I think just the mental part is more mental than it actually is physical, going out there doing drills and things. If you're able to play fast, now you can go.
Was he the one that got tripped up by Ben Roethlisberger when
I think so? Yeah,
he picked up the fumble, but the night before, Dude, was that true or was that fake?
Yeah, no, that was real. I wasn't there, but that happened. This was before I got there. But that was that.
He got stabbed by his girl the night before, and I'm telling you, as guys, my witness, if you don't get stabbed by your girl the night before in the middle of the night, and then you got a Super Bowl to contend to the next day, and you pick up a fumble but Bettis, right? Bettis dropped it.
I can't. I wasn't there. I was before I got there, but I know about everything. But I think it was Bettis. Dude, you might be right.
He scoops up freaking Bettis' fumble. He takes off running, and next thing you know, Ben Roethlisberger, he ain't fast. I mean, he's not like super slow, but he's not like really fast. He trips him up, dude. I'm telling you, man. If you didn't get stabbed,
you got some good memory remembering that, because he was definitely the one. You remember the whole story. He got stabbed, and
Yeah, well, I was trying to slide it in there. I wasn't going to come all the way out with it.
Oh, okay.
Like, yep. So, hey, but Nick actually came to our college, man, and he was doing at Christopher Newport University in Newport News, Virginia, when I came out of the military, coming back from the Middle East. And I was there at the registrar's office. Then the day after, I was like accidental walk-on because like the coach that was there, he's like, hey, are you with the football program? And I was like, no, I'm here to get my Montgomery GI Bill so I can go to school. And he goes, how tall are you? I'm like 6'6". And he's like, how much do you weigh? At the time it was 220. I ain't going to tell you what I weigh now, okay? But he goes, have you ever played football before? And I'm like, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but never in like high school. He goes, I think we got a spot for you on the team if you want to play. And I'm like, sweet, let's do it. But this dude, he comes out, and I'm with the offensive lineman, and we're running, running the way we can run, going down on the track, whatever. this dude Hayden is like doing like what's that thing where you go sideways, the tapioca or whatever, like the
karaoke.
Karaoke, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where you run it. He was running faster than us sideways and backwards. Like he was showing off, bro. I was like, that's NFL speed, bro. It's crazy. So yeah, he signed my starter jacket. I had a starter jacket back then. That was pretty cool, man. So
you still got that starter jacket?
No, I don't think I do. I lost it on the trip, man. I wish I did, man. But that was a cool dude, man. He was really nice to us, man.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's a good dude.
Yeah, sorry about that. I think we're on like number 15, Brandon.
I just want to say, Devin, I can't say enough about the insight you just gave us from somebody who played the sport competitively and from a fan's perspective. I think when most fans hear the term speed of the game, they immediately think physicality, athleticism.
Right.
And I think you're 100% correct. I think it's the mental processing that's hardest for players from the collegiate to NFL transition. Right. And I'm glad I've never heard it put in better words than the way you just said it yourself, honestly. Right. My question for you, though, Devin, is today, now that football's behind you, what is a day in the life of Devin Aromashadu?
Wake up, take the kids to the bus stop. Make sure everybody made it out the house safe, and try to get some stuff done with my day. I do a little bit of mortgage banking, so I've been doing that about 8 years now. So that's what I do, and I can kind of do some of that from home, which helps. But yeah, that's pretty much the day in the life of me. It pretty much revolves around my kids and family and what they have going on. So they kind of I got to do live my dreams, so I kind of help ushering them into the things they want to do in life. So
very cool, man. I got a 5-year-old girl.
Oh, you do? All right, congrats.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can do the same thing for her, man.
That's awesome. Sounds like you're putting your people first, your family first, and being more of a servant leader, and that's commendable.
Right.
Man. Talk to you, man, for sure, man. Devin, is there anything else that you'd like to share with everybody out there? Something that they might not know about you before, in the past, present, or what you're working on in the future, and where can people find you? And what do you got going on, man? Are you kind of like low key or what?
Yeah, I'm just kind of low key, to be honest. Just with the family. I live in Birmingham, Alabama, out of all places. I'm from Miami, so you never know where you end up at. But I live here, and just enjoy life, and I'm just thankful for every day. Every day is a blessing. So I just thank God for every day I can wake up and be an impact to someone. I'm in mortgage banking. I never thought I'd be in this, but I love what I do. I love helping people own a home, because a lot of people don't know what that feels like, and it's a process. So that's what I get to do. I get to kind of help people reach that dream of owning a home. And when we close, it's like they got drafted. So it's a good feeling for them. So so that's pretty much what I have going on.
That's man, cool, I'll tell you what, boys. I don't know about you, but this goes up there with one of my favorite interviews, man. Thank you so much, Devin, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Devin. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks for giving us your time, man. God bless.
Absolutely. God bless you guys as well.
All right, man. Have a good night, man.
All right, thanks.
Man, that was a good one, fellas. That was really cool. What do you guys want to talk about next? What's going on out there? You want to talk about the sky, or let's talk about the sky for a little bit.
I mean, they've been in the headline a lot recently. I mean, it's really been like the last 24 hours with I forget. Is it Kennedy Carter? Is that how you pronounce it? And what she did to Caitlin Clark? Yeah, Kennedy. Yeah. I mean, that's been in the news a lot over the last 24 hours.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that girl's name till that happened.
Yeah, I didn't either. I mean,
bro, honestly, I think 70-71. That's a really good score. That game, 70-71. That's really good. I mean, it shows the closeness. The two teams, they're really they're looking good. They're building. Obviously, the Sky's got something they can build off of. Both teams look good, man. I think Indiana looked good too. I'm excited, man. I'm really starting to get into this WNBA, fellas. Seriously.
I understand these ladies are competitors. I really do. But there's so much dislike for Caitlin Clark from the players, which is
And
remarkable to me.
yeah,
It's not even there's not even a respect there. And let's be honest, Caitlin Clark has brought a lot to the WNBA. She's brought a lot of fans with her from Iowa. She's selling out stadiums. TV ratings are going up. And these other players on opposing teams just can't stand her. I don't get it. And she seems like a pretty I don't know. She seems like a fair competitor to me. She
yeah,
doesn't
she
seem
seems
to
fine. Yeah,
she doesn't seem to do anything dirty. She's you know what I mean. She's just a baller, dude. And you would think that even opponents would embrace her because like what she's brought. And it's really strange to me, especially the way the Chicago Sky behaved in that game. It really is mind blowing to me. Like it's clear, just I don't know, malicious. You know what I mean? It's just it surprised me to see it after all the highlights I watched from that game. I didn't watch the game, but I mean they were just beating her up, man. And I know Jordan got the same treatment, but once Jordan became Jordan, people just showed him respect. And I feel like Caitlin Clark kind of came into the NBA already being the best women's basketball player. She should have had that
yeah.
respect, man.
Yeah, I tweeted something kind of about this whole thing, and it was just kind of lines of like in the past like year, we've seen three generational prospects enter sports. You had Bedard in hockey, Wembanyama, the NBA, and now Clark with the WNBA. And you kind of see how like the NHL and NBA treated those guys coming in, and they were pretty happy about it, right? They're complimenting him, talking about how great they're going to be for the league in years to come. And then you look at Caitlin Clark, and everyone's kind of trying to beat the hell out of her already, and she's played like 5 games. Like the parallel between those two guys and then what's happening with Clark is insane. And I don't get it because when Clark's coming into the league, she's bringing viewers, which is going to raise revenue, which raises contracts for everyone in the league. I don't understand why
Yeah,
you're
good
trying
good
to
point.
like paint Clark as a villain when her popularity and motion she has for what's going to happen to the WNBA, it's going to affect you positively. I don't know why you try to make her like a villain almost. That's really what it feels like. They're trying to make her like a villain and like just almost like scare her away from the WNBA. And she's going to do great things. I don't think it's going to do anything to Caitlin Clark. She's going to be great for years to come. But it's just weird to me to just see what the WNBA has really treated her. And there was stuff coming into the league before she was even drafted, kind of people like bad mouthing her already, talking about she has to learn the league, stuff like that. And I just don't get it. When you look across the other leagues, guys are propelling the young kids up, and it just seems the women are trying to push her down for some reason.
Well, I mean, that's how they were with LeBron when he came on, if you remember correctly. At the very beginning, people just hated him because he was already, projected to be this, projected to be that. Same thing with, Caleb. There was a bunch of hate thrown on him. It didn't take long, but he's got a much different personality,
Yeah.
and it's very warming personality. So for her, she's not doing her any favors just because she's not Caleb. Caleb's got a very boisterous, loving, like happy-go-lucky, like just hanging out with the type of guy you want to kick back and talk sports with and have a drink, and she's just kind of like not that. So not that that's against her or anything. It's just Caleb's been able to kind of kick that easier. And I mean, I don't want to get into too much TMZ of sports, but I knew like something like this would be coming. Not necessarily for her, but just in general. It's just kind of just the way things are. I mean, anything to make a storyline, and talk about it instead of the X's and O's and the numbers and, accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative. That's what people want a storyline for, you know what I mean? And that's what gets people to buy into crap like this. Even with the Caleb, dude, I already knew what Caleb was about. I followed him, at USC and whatever. And I it was quick how quick some of the haters and people that really were just, was skeptical about him, how quickly their tune changed because he just stayed who you are. And if I had any sort of advice to give somebody like Caitlin that's going through something like this, is just be true to yourself and be who you are, and the rest will figure itself out. You know what I mean? And just stay focused on freaking basketball.
Yeah,
I mean,
kill him on the court for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could stay focused on basketball and why you're really there and not let that seep into you because that's not you, then it's all good, just it's whatever.
Yeah, she had an interview regarding kind of the unnecessary fouls she's received in the first few games of her career, and it was really strange, man. She kept her eyes like shielded from the camera. She kind of looked down the whole time, and I don't know, man. It's not the welcome that I expected for somebody who's brought so much excitement to a sport that, I mean, let's be honest, guys. I really hate that. Nobody cared. You know what I mean? Nobody
Yeah,
cared.
I don't think
A
you guys
year ago.
sugarcoat it.
Yeah. So, it's strange.
Yeah, but actually in Chicago, man, we got a really good team, man. I'm excited, man. They look good. They're definitely building something. Everything looks good. They're playing hard. Cardova finally came back. She had her first game, and she came in there early, and you could tell her presence down low. The 6-foot frame that she's got, and just her physicality really is going to help out, and they're going to build off of that for sure. It's gonna be a special team, man. I'm excited for Chicago. Now let's talk about the Cubs a little bit and the Sox. I mean, I hate to, but at least we had a little positivity there with the Sky, right? Because they're doing decent and the sky's not falling, like it is for the Sox and the Cubs right now. But how worried are you guys about the Cubs right now?
I think it's worse than people think it is, to be honest. The bullpen's been a problem all year, but they were still able to win games. Now they can't hit the damn ball. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow's game against the White Sox, we see the first no-hitter by both pitchers ever in our lifetime. 47 innings of no hits. I'll be pitching by the end of that game when they got no one left.
There you go. Misty pitched last week for ALS, man, and she has a picture on Instagram where she literally got it over the plate, man, and got it high too. I was like, man, the girl got strong.
I read something in the last week. These two offenses have literally breaking records for. I'd have to look up the stats again, but they've just literally no offense at all whatsoever.
I was trying to figure out if I could put it up on screen, but it was Jay Kuda on Twitter. I saw it earlier today, and just in the last 3 weeks, Chicago baseball going by wins, runs per game, batting average, on base percentage, slugging, and OPS. The Sox in that order: 30th, 26th, 30th, 28th, 29th. The Cubs, 29th, 29th, 30th, 29th, 30th, 30th. I mean, these have literally been the two worst teams in baseball over the past 3 weeks.
This is brutal. You know, you're not catching a home run ball at either of those fields.
No.
Yeah, probably not.
There's really no Blackhawks news to report. No Bulls news. Was there some Bulls news? I feel like there's something came out. Didn't something come out about the Bulls? Didn't they decide not to resign somebody? I feel like there was it Green?
I honestly haven't seen anything on the Bulls really.
The last piece of news I saw from the Bulls was that obviously Lonzo Ball exercised his option.
Yeah,
I think he got an additional year. I forget how much money, but I mean, he didn't have many choices.
Yeah, he'll take the free money after not playing basketball for 2 years. I think any of us would.
Yeah, I mean, that's his option. I would exercise that too, man. For real.
Absolutely.
Yeah, why not? But
I think the Bulls are still holding on to hope.
I think it was Chicago Bulls podcast. They said that they're not going to re-sign Green, I think it is. So some people were a little disappointed in that. They felt like he was a good, solid player, but, they're kind of looking to see what they're going to do as far as maybe go out and get a big splash. There's been talks about Luka. I'm like, no, dude. Why would Dallas? Why would he even move on to a project team? We've got to throw an ungodly amount of money, and we don't have nearly the players to bring him in. That's just foolish, talk about.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense why Dallas would even trade him. I mean, they're in the finals right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's crazy.
Weren't they talking to? I think DeMar DeRozan was also talking about a contract extension, or so there was some money talks with DeRozan
Please
too.
tell
Yeah,
me
they
that.
definitely like DeRozan. They're talking about bringing him back a couple years, whatever. They just like his work ethic. I mean, listen, dude, when the guy misses a freaking ball, he'll shoot for like 3 hours after the freaking United Center closes. I mean, he's got like that Mamba mentality about him. It's just unbelievable. It's just too bad there's not a team around him. But if you want somebody with that work ethic and bring these kids in, that's the guy you want.
Well,
You
and
don't want a guy that rolls up 2 minutes before the freaking show starts and was like, okay, what are we doing? What's the game plan today? Anything like this guy, he turns the lights on and he turns them off. And if he misses something, he is gonna shoot till he gets it right. You know what I mean? I like that work ethic.
oh, he's a perfect piece to have for a
Yeah.
team that needs to start making moves.
Not
DeRozan
saying that
is
he's going to be the guy that puts the icing on the cake when it's
no, but
needed.
you're
At
right,
times
Brandon.
he can. At
Yeah,
times he can, but he could definitely be that third superstar that could get it up. Maybe not the first superstar or
well,
the
no, I
second.
think you're right. He's more importantly, he's a quality player for a contender.
Yeah.
If the
Yeah.
the Bulls could move him, so every team in the NFL and or NBA could use a player like DeMar DeRozan. Any team that's close like needs
Not
that
saying you're
final
wrong.
piece.
Not saying
Yeah.
you're wrong, but if I'm trying to
No, I'm agreeing
keep
with you, man.
a winning culture, a winning, there's got to be some key pieces that stays in there. Like I kind of look at it like, and this might be like a shot, like a little bit too far across the bow, but and he's an elder statesman, so most of it is geared that way. Like Jalen Johnson, when we were going and getting younger and all this and that, we want to keep Jalen Johnson because now he's the elder statesman, and he's the hardworking type guy, whatever. So I don't know. That's
He's the
kind of how
veteran.
I see it.
Yeah.
You don't want that guy that's the hardest working guy in the building to leave. You want to show the work ethic to all the incoming kids, and hopefully they can, catch that and do something with it.
Well, and I
Before
love DeMar. Like I
ship them
love
off.
DeMar, especially the guy. He
Yeah.
seems, and I really hope
Yeah.
if the Bulls don't find some sense of direction, they at least allow him to spend his final years contending for a ring. The guy deserves it, man.
No, that'd
I
be
mean,
cool.
if we're gonna sit here in
Yeah.
purgatory, he deserves a shot to win himself a championship because
Kind of like
he,
what Poles did with the Bears. He let guys go off to places where they
yeah,
potentially could win with the Eagles, the Ravens, and
the Chargers, Khalil Mack,
the
yeah, these guys, yeah.
Steelers and the Chargers. Yeah, I get all that, but we still got to have a guy in the building. Maybe there already is another guy besides him, but as far as I know, he's the hardest working freaking guy in the building. So I don't know if that means that we ship somebody else off that can get us a whole lot, but sometimes you get a whole lot of nothing. So I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do, man. I'm confused about the whole deal. I'm a little worried about it, to be honest. And I think it's gonna take a few years. But I mean, all honesty, AK might just blow our socks off and do some miraculous, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen, brothers. I have no idea. I saw they were gonna go after this guy from UConn, the center from UConn.
Donovan Clingan.
Yeah.
Donovan Clingan. He's going to go way too high. He's not going to fall to them though. He's
really?
probably I don't think he falls to where the.
You don't think he falls to 12?
12? No way. He's gone.
No.
They'd have to trade up for. He might be a top 5 pick.
They're saying the defense and the rebounding is why they would go after him. Whoa. I like what you just said because they were saying not just 12, but they're going to have to throw something in the mix in order to move up to get him. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah, they would have to move up.
Yeah, and that's some of the news that has came up. So it's not much, but we got something. You know what I'm trying to say? So
yeah, I just don't know what you'd have to move to get up to number 5. I mean, obviously you'd like to move LaVine, but I don't think any of those teams in the top 5 need Zach LaVine. I mean, those teams are so far off from maybe Atlanta, but they're not trading numm 1. You're not going to trade up to 1.
I've seen LaVine been talked about with the Lakers, and that would make a lot of sense. As long as LeBron stays, as long as Davis stays, AD stays, I could see somebody like that really helping that team go far. You know what I mean? I'm talking like 50, 60 wins with a guy like him, and maybe shuffling around and getting some pieces in there, some sharpshooters and things like that. You know what I'm saying, Michael? But I think he would really make your team do exceptionally well. You know, we were just talking, Brandon. We were just talking about Levine and maybe shipping him off to the Lakers and getting some sort of package, you know, and from them cats over there, you know.
Yeah,
So,
I think, and I don't think it's because of his ability to play basketball. The guy's a good player because
yeah,
he's kind of in the same boat as Justin Fields was with the Bears, but because of
yeah.
his contract, they shopped Levine, and I think they got interest from maybe one team. Nobody, because it's so much damn money, man. And I'm going to say this: the Bulls had to give him the max if they wanted him to stick around.
Yeah.
That's as we're seeing with these wide receivers and sports guys. Like, this is what's happening now. It is what it is. That was the demand, but because of that contract, and then now the injury, it's gonna be really, really hard for the Bulls to get him anywhere unless they settle for less. It's a sell low move, but they're probably gonna have to do it.
Guys, I wanted to bring something, circle back to the Bears with Mongo, and this is kind of like privatized. Let's not go on the internet, and we can't control our viewers, but I wanted to get this out there for the people that have been following Mongo for a while. Talked to Misty today, and it seems as though that the Canton would like to keep Mongo at home for the enshrinement. They're going to bring the bust out to him, and you know, have that whole ceremony for him privatized and in and around, you know, at his home, because he barely can sit up for any more than an hour. So it just doesn't seem like it logistically for him would work out to. And I mean, he's been, you know, he's been wanting, he's been fighting to go there, but he understands it. He gets it. He's okay with it. He's cool. Talked to Misty about that. So they still want, you know, all of Mongo's family and friends to come out and, you know, celebrate him out at Canton and be there, you know, for him and all that kind of stuff too. But at the same time, he'll be, you know, held back and whatnot because of his, you know, ongoing health conditions and stuff like that. So just keep him in your prayers. I'm just hoping that he stays and remains in high spirits, because that was the whole thing that's kept him fighting. And I think, you know, alive for so long was just simply because he was fighting to go to Canton, you know. And I hope this is still just as important to him, to where he's, you know, continuing on. You know what I'm saying? So
He's still going to be a Canton.
Yeah.
yeah. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. But yeah, keep his family and himself, you know, in your guys' prayers and thoughts and all that cool stuff.
For sure.
Yep. I don't have anything else I want to talk about. I kind of want to wrap this up a little bit early, and as always, the show kind of gets away from us, even though when we want to wrap it up early. That's why we let Devin leave so soon, you know. That was kind of like a weird situation, because usually when you have the guests, they dip out, and I literally hit the button for that to whole like move forward, you know. I was like, oops. So, but man, it was great. He just texted us right now and said he loved being on the show, and he'd like to come back and all that cool stuff. So, man, you guys did a great job with him. But I meant that wholeheartedly. Like, that was legit one of my favorite interviews from, you know, a guy. It was super cool, man. It was super cool.
He legitimately looks like he could still play in the NFL, man.
Probably could. His hamstring held up.
It's like, well, I was looking, because I had him on. I was looking, doing like Google search through some of his history, and there was a picture of him when he was on, I think, the Colts. So obviously pretty young, second year in the NFL. He looked the exact same, just with long hair, man. Like, he was the same guy I was looking at on the screen.
Yeah. We got any big dates coming up, guys? Anything that's coming up with Chicago or
June
anything?
1st. This is what I'm hearing. So June 1st just passed, right? And I was reading right before I came on here, so I don't know how credible this source is.
All right.
That Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus are very much looking at the remaining edge rushing free agents.
Oh, cool.
So I would imagine if there's going to be a signing, because June 1st is typically the date in which people try to free up some cap because they got to sign their rookies. I would imagine you're going to see the Bears, if they're going to sign somebody I would imagine within the next 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, makes sense. So we'll be looking for that, and if something happens, we'll drop a podcast for you guys as soon as it happens, within reason, but that day, hopefully at least, Lord willing. And thanks for being on the show, guys. Thanks for tuning in and spending time with us on this Monday night. And yeah,
Thanks, guys.
Tell a friend, tell everybody about us. And thanks again. Bear down.
Yep. Thanks for coming out, guys. Bear down.